Today's topic for discussion is reproduction in fungi. Fungi are non-chlorophyllous organisms. They are living things. When these are the living things, then reproduction will be there. Fungi reproduces by different types of methods. The fungi reproduction in fungi takes place by three methods. Number 1, vegetative reproduction, and number 2, asexual reproduction. Reproduction which takes place in absence of gametes, that is called asexual reproduction, and sexual reproduction means the reproduction which takes place by formation of gametes in presence of gametes, by fusion of gametes, that is called sexual reproduction. Next, vegetative reproduction in fungi. Fungal thallus is a mycelium. Mycelium is a fungal thallus of the fungus. Mycelium consists of numerous thread-like hyphae. Okay. But the unicellular fungus, which is known as yeast is a unicellular fungus. It reproduces by formation of buds. Budding is the vegetative bud formation takes place in the cell of yeast. After maturity of the cell, when enough food material is present in the cell, such mature cells, they produce small protuberances on the wall of the yeast cell, and these small protuberances gradually increase in size and they looks like a bud-like structure. And these buds, after maturity, they detach from the host parental cell. They detach from parental cell, that is yeast, because this is a unicellular fungus. Okay, it has only one nucleus, only one cell. And these buds which are formed on the wall of the unicellular fungus yeast, these buds detach from the parental cell and independently grow into a new yeast cell. This is a vegetative reproduction occurs in unicellular fungus, that is yeast. That is by budding, vegetative reproduction by budding. Okay. Next, besides this, all other fungi, they are having filamentous thallus. And mycelium consists of numerous hyphae which are highly branched. Okay. And even a single thread of the hypha, or if it consists of 2 to 3 compartments of the cell, or 2 to 3 cells of the hypha, even that can grow into a new thallus. This is the type of reproduction which is known as fragmentation, vegetative reproduction by fragmentation. Next, this is again budding in the yeast. Just I explained you the unicellular fungi like yeast reproduce by giving out a bud-like outgrowths. Such buds detach from the parental cell, just I told you, and the buds mature like parental cell. This type of reproduction is called as budding, and budding occurs in only unicellular fungus, that is yeast. Okay, next. This is fragmentation. Just again I discussed with you, the mycelium breaks into several pieces. Even a small piece of the hypha can grow into a new mycelium. Each broken piece can develop into a new mycelium. Such type of vegetative reproduction is termed as fragmentation. This is asexual reproduction in fungi. Asexual reproduction in fungi takes place by following methods. There are 5 to 6, 7, 8, many methods are given, but only 6 described here. That is zoospore formation, asexual reproduction by zoospore formation, by formation of spores, by formation of conidia, asexual reproduction by formation of chlamydospores, asexual reproduction by oidiospores, and sclerotids, another method of asexual reproduction that occurs in fungi. What is asexual reproduction by zoospores? Zoospores, these are mostly produced in lower fungi. This is the characteristic feature of lower fungi. The fungi of group Phycomycetes produces zoospores. Why these are called zoospores? Because it is having flagella. It can move itself with the help of flagella. Hence it is called zoospore. And zoospores are produced mostly in a sporangium. Sporangium, it is a sac-like structure. It is a bag-like structure which is multinucleated mostly, and in that each nucleus get transform into a zoospore-like structure. Zoospores are produced in sporangium. The fertile hyphae produces sporangiophores. What is sporangiophore? It is the stalks. These are the fertile hyphae. These are straight fertile hyphae. Stalk of the sporangium, that is sporangiophore, which is known as sporangiophore and sporangia. The fertile hyphae produces sporangiophores as well as sporangia. Sporangium consists of several nuclei, just I told you, and many nuclei are present in the sporangium. All nuclei, they get converted into zoospore-like structure. Zoospore-like structure, okay? And the zoospores may be pyriform. Shape of zoospore is again different. Pyriform shape. Okay, pyriform, it may be pyriform in shape. Zoospore, it may be pear-shaped. Or many fungi also produces kidney-shaped zoospores. Shape of the zoospore is kidney-like, bean-shaped, okay? The zoospores are unicellular, one-celled structure. Uni means one. Uninucleate. Uni means one. Nucleus is one. One nucleus is there. And zoospores are biflagellate structure. Bi means two. Two flagella are there. If the shape of the zoospore is pyriform, then the flagella are attached to the anterior region of the zoospore. If the shape of the zoospore is kidney shaped, mostly the flagella, the two flagella, they are attached to the lateral side of the zoospore. Okay. Zoospores germinate. At the time of germination, they release its flagella and germinate. The zoospore germinate and produces a new mycelium, new thallus of the fungus. And therefore, zoospore is the product of asexual reproduction. And many fungi reproduce asexually by formation of zoospores. Next. The asexual reproduction by spores. The term spore is coined by Hedwig in 1793. Very important to remember. Spore is a simple reproductive unit of fungi. Spore, it is unicellular, one-celled structure, or it may be multicellular, many, not multicellular, many nucleated, multinuclear. It is unicellular, uninucleated or multinucleated structure with small amount of cytoplasm. Okay. Spore may be, shape of the spore is again different. It may be oval, it may be round, or it may be elliptical, or it may be long, or it may be needle shaped, or it may be helical. Shapes of the spores produced by fungi are of different shapes. Different shapes occur in the spores of fungi. They are produced in sporangia, but they are produced in a large number. The spores are produced in large number. They are light in weight, very light in weight, hence dispersed, easily carried by wind to the long distance. Air is full of number of spores of the fungi. Okay, in higher fungi, the spores are produced endogenously or exogenously. Okay, next. Asexual reproduction in fungi by formation of conidia. These are spore-like structures. Conidia are spore-like structures which develop singly or in chain form from the swollen hyphal tip. Okay. The conidia producing hyphal tip, it is known as conidiophore. The conidiophore, it is a fertile hypha, and at the tip of which conidium is developed or conidial chain is developed. Spores may be unicellular, or the conidia are also known as spores, and the conidium may be unicellular or multicellular structure, okay, that are easily carried away by wind. Multicellular spores are produced by the alternaria. Even helminthosporium spore is multicellular. Okay, like this. Next. Asexual reproduction by formation of chlamydospores. Chlamydospores, these are also a type of spores which are produced by fungus during asexual reproduction. Many types of fungi reproduce by formation of chlamydospores. These are thick-walled spores. These are resistant to adverse environmental conditions. These chlamydospores are produced directly from the hyphal cells. They may be produced singly or in chain. And the position of the chlamydospore in the hypha, it may be terminal or intercalary in position. Terminal means at the top of the hypha, when when chlamydospore is produced at the terminal end of hypha, that position is known as terminal position of chlamydospore. When the hyphal cells, the intercalary cells of hypha produces chlamydospores, the position of chlamydospore is intercalary in position. Okay. Chlamydospores, these are resistant spores. These are highly resistant to adverse environmental conditions, and they can survive in soil for several months. And chlamydospores remain dormant for long duration, and under favorable condition, whenever the environmental conditions are favorable, they germinate and produces a new mycelium. This is the asexual reproduction by formation of chlamydospores. The chlamydospores are produced several types of pathogenic fungi, parasitic fungi, and these are the thick-walled dormant spores, chlamydospores. Okay. Next, asexual reproduction in fungi by formation of oidiospores, or singular it is known as oidium. Single spore it is called as oidium. Okay. These are mostly produced in cultural conditions. The oidiospores are mostly produced in cultural conditions when sugar content is adequate. Okay. The hyphae undergo segmentation during formation of oidiospores. Each segment gradually round off and looks like a beaded chain of beads. Okay. In presence of favorable condition, these oidiospores germinate to form a new mycelium. This is the asexual reproduction in fungi by formation of oidiospores. Next slide. This is asexual reproduction by sclerotids. Sclerotid, it is a mat of the fungus, and mat of the fungus is also produced by several types of fungi. This is for asexual reproduction. These sclerotids are more or less rounded, cushion shaped, cylindrical, or irregularly densely packed mass of thick walled hyphae. It forms compact mass of thick walled hyphae. It forms compact pseudoparenchymatous tissue. It looks like a parenchymatous tissue, but it is not a true tissue. Hence, it is called pseudoparenchymatous tissue. The outer hyphae forms a hard coating, and the food material is stored in the inner side. It is a resting strong object of the fungus, which is known as sclerotids. Okay. In favorable conditions, these sclerotids germinate to produce a new mycelium. Okay. Next. Now let us see the sexual reproduction in fungi. Sexual reproduction in fungi takes place by different types of methods. 5 methods described here. Number 1, planogametic copulation, and number 2, sexual reproduction by gametangial copulation. Number 3, gametangial contact, sexual reproduction by gametangial contact, and sexual reproduction by spermatization, sexual reproduction by somatogamy. These are the methods of sexual reproduction which occur in fungi. Next, what is planogametic copulation? Sexual reproduction in fungi. In this case, the motile gametes of fungi are called planogametes. Okay. And male and female gametes unite with each other. In this type of copulation, both the gametes may be motile, or one may be motile and other may be non-motile. The motile gamete is male gamete, generally considered as male gamete, and the non-motile gamete is female gamete. The sexual reproduction by fusion of two such gametes is described as planogametic copulation. Okay. Now, there are 3 types of planogametic copulation occurs in fungi. Which are those 3 types? Number 1, isogamous planogametic copulation. Isogamous, in this case, the male and female gametes are morphologically exactly similar. Both are flagellated and both are exactly similar in size and shape. But morphologically they are similar, but they are different at genetical level. One is male and one other is female. They are different at genetical level. When fusion between two such gametes takes place, that sexual reproduction is described as isogamous type of sexual reproduction. Okay. Next, unisogamous sexual reproduction. In this case, the female gamete is very small and flagellated, and the male gamete is flagellated and small in size, and female gamete is large and non-flagellated structure. When the fusion between two such gametes takes place during sexual reproduction, that is described as unisogamous type of sexual reproduction. Okay. Number 3, oogamous type of sexual reproduction. In this case, the male gamete is mostly known as antheridium and female gamete is called as ogonium. It is a large globular structure. Such fusion between two such gametes, antheridium and ogonium, takes place during sexual reproduction. That sexual reproduction is described as oogamous type of sexual reproduction. Next. What is gametangial copulation? Sexual reproduction in fungi by gametangial copulation. This involves the fusion of entire content of two gametangia. Okay. The wall present between the contacts get dissolved and two protoplasts fuse, and sexual reproduction is affected. Okay. This type of sexual reproduction occurs in several types of fungi, which is described as gametangial copulation. Next slide. This is the gametangial contact, sexual reproduction by gametangial contact. In some fungi, both the gametes are reduced to undifferentiated protoplast and are represented by nuclei. Such gametes are never liberated out of the gametangia. They are transferred directly from one gametangia to the other. This type of sexual reproduction is described as sexual reproduction by gametangial contact. Next. This is sexual reproduction in fungi by, that is, spermatization, which is known as spermatization. In this case, what happens? Some higher fungi produce uninucleate, minute, spherical, non-motile male cells called spermatia. Okay. They are carried to the female gametangium or receptive hypha. They get attached to it. The wall between the contact is dissolved and the content of the spermatium passes to the female gamete. This type of sexual reproduction occurs in higher fungi, which is called as spermatization. Next. Sexual reproduction in fungi by somatogamy. Somatogamy. What is somatogamy? Sexual reproduction by somatogamy. In this case, in most of the fungi, sexual reproduction takes place by union of somatic hyphae, that is vegetative hyphae. We have seen in the agaricus. Okay. Somatogamy occurs in agaricus. Then the phenomenon of fusion of two somatic hyphae or vegetative hyphae is known as somatogamy. This type of reproduction occurs in several higher fungi, and the concept of sexual reproduction is described as somatogamy. Okay. Next. Thank you very much. Save plants increase yield because several types of parasitic fungi causing several types of diseases and which are responsible for heavy losses of the crop. Therefore, save plants increase yield. Thank you very much.